Andrew Brown alongside Alex Evers here at beautiful Del Mar for a Hong Kong racing show with a twist. Of course, we are gearing up for the Breeders' Cup World Championships here this weekend, and the Hong Kong Jockey Club is betting on 5 of those Breeders' Cup races. We are going to preview those shortly, provide you with our tips and analysis. As I welcome in Alex, how's your week been?
It's been wonderful. It's been lovely. It's my home away from home in the United States here at Del Mar. Beautiful track, beautiful surface. We've got great weather all week. Wonderful horses. It's going flawlessly.
Couldn't be better.
She's
We've been looking at 80-degree days at the moment too, which has just been outstanding. That's around 25 degrees Celsius for those of you that use the Celsius as your temperature. So you've been photographing up a storm, as you normally do. We've seen some beautiful photos of yours on Twitter throughout the week. Who are 3 horses that have really caught your eye?
Actually, number 1, Sierra Leone, which I'm not a big Sierra Leone guy, but he's looked incredible. He's looked the best that he's looked in the times that I've seen him over the last few seasons. Forever Young looks incredible as well. He's been growing again. He looks bigger, stronger than he did in Saudi, and he looked incredible there. So if he runs that Saudi Cup form, he's going to be so tough. And again, Flatter's our boy, Romantic Warrior, so we'd love to see that.
Yeah.
And then the filly, I'm just super excited to see. She looks well to me. I don't know her day-to-day basis, but Minnie Hauk has looked pretty well to me.
Yeah, that was one of the horses that you're most looking forward to photographing here at Del Mar, so that's pretty exciting. So we're going to look at those 5 Breeders' Cup races very shortly, give you our tips as I mentioned, but firstly we have to talk a little bit of Hong Kong racing and Tomodachi Kokoro. What a performance in the Premier Bowl last weekend at Sha Tin. What did you make of it?
Unreal, and the lightweight too. He's just improved so much. Remember, he ran in the IJC with Vincent Ho and won one of the legs, was it 2 seasons ago?
Yeah.
And now here he is running 106, running a couple ticks off of HKIR Rising's time, which is incredible, granted with lightweight. But David Hayes, a 1-2 punch in the sprint it's looking like right now. Huh?
It's unbelievable. Tomodachi Kokoro might give HKIR Rising a run for his money in the Hong Kong sprint. You never know.
We don't do that. You're a little ahead of yourself there.
Anyway, Tomodachi Kokoro is one of 185 horses entered for HKIR, along with, of course, HKIR Rising. The entries came out a few hours ago. We've had a chance to go through them a little bit. There's also 12 American horses on that list, including 6 Group 1 winners, Gold Phoenix on that list, but we've got the Hong Kong top 3, of course, HKIR Rising, Romantic Warrior, Voyage Bubble. I've also seen names like Via Sistina, the dual Cox Plate winner. How good would that be? Minnie Hauk is on the list, as you mentioned before. If all 185 of these horses went to HKIR, it would be incredible. Obviously, we will lose a few, but exciting stuff, right? It's starting to feel real. A lot of the horses on the grounds here at Del Mar going on to Hong Kong.
Yeah, absolutely. And I heard a rumor that Ryan might be healthy enough to get back in the saddle by HKIR with the pushback week. I don't know if that's true or not, but if it is, that would be incredible to see Ryan Moore back in the saddle. And speaking of Ryan, his son Toby got his first winner at Kimpton last night, which is pretty impressive. So we're not too far away from seeing him in the winner's circle at a Breeders' Cup or an HKIR, the young Moore.
Awesome. Yeah. And a little bit of news here in America too. Speaking of world-class jockeys and world champion jockeys, Frankie Dettori announcing his USA retirement. He is going to go and ride a few in South America as well. But he's had a big impact on Hong Kong racing over the years as well. I think he's had a few cup winners, Vars winners, maybe a sprint and a mile winner as well. So farewell to Frankie. It's been a long sort of few years of retirement, but he's made such an impact to our sport.
We got a global tour too. We got to see him in California. He had some good wins in Dubai here recently. Yeah. He's ridden everywhere, which is lovely, and he's such a great ambassador for the sport. So I wish him the best. And one of the few books I read as a kid. Not a big scholar over here, but I did read Frankie's book, and we mentioned the Magnificent Seven and the plane crash. And his story is absolutely incredible. So we love, and he's inspired so many young jockeys here. We got the Italian connection in California. You see Frisu with the same maroon leg bands, leg wraps that he comes up out of the boots. So his impact will be left on racing, no doubt.
100%. All right, it's time for us to look at the 5 Breeders' Cup World Championships races that the Hong Kong Jockey Club is going to be betting on this weekend. Early hours Sunday morning, Saturday afternoon here at Del Mar, beautiful Del Mar, where the turf meets the surf, as they say. The first race on the program is one of the races that I'm looking forward to most as well. It's the Breeders' Cup Turf, starring, of course, Rebels Romance, the 2024 Champions and Chater winner at Hong Kong at Sha Tin. He's a real world traveller. He's been and won in about 8 or 9 different countries, and he's up against Minnie Hauk as well. Alex, I'm siding with Rebels Romance here. I just think he looks fantastic. I think that one hole really suits. Minnie Hauk's going to have to chase him down, and he's just such a tough horse to get past. So I've got Rebels Romance in front, Minnie Hauk second. How about yourself?
I'm flipped on that, actually. I'm a big Minnie Hauk guy, and I think getting a little bit of weight off should help her a bit in this run here. She's looked incredible, but she's got a formidable foe in Rebel's Romance. And I believe off the top of my head, I don't have computers in front of us, but if he wins that, he'll tie Miesk for 3 Breeders' Cup wins in the same race.
Wow.
She won the mile 3 times.
Yeah.
Golden Cobra won 3 times as well.
Yeah, well, Rebel's Romance is looking to become the first 3-time winner of the turf.
Correct.
Yeah.
So yeah, it'd be awesome to see him win, and he put everything in his run last year. Buick was saying how tired he was after the next couple days after the race. So we know he's capable of going to the well there if he needs to, and so we'll see. He's just lovely, and he's one of the most special horses. We get to see him all over the world. He's the type of horse that really builds fan base for racing globally, and not only at the Breeders' Cup, but everywhere else. So happy to see him, and it'd be exciting to see him win, even if Minnie Hauk doesn't.
So Minnie Hauk for you, Rebel's Romance for me. I did catch up with Rebel Romance's jockey William Buick, and here's what he had to say about Rebel's Romance's chances.
Yeah, well, he was slightly wider last year, wasn't he? Which we were a bit worried about that last year. He was a little bit wide. Look, you'd have 1 over 14 any day. So, and his run style is, he likes to go forward. He likes to use himself, but he doesn't have to lead or anything like that. He's adaptable. So, we'll have a look at the race and assess. But hopefully, either way, he's going to get a ground-saving trip from the 1 hole.
All right, up next, it's the big one of the day, the Breeders' Cup Classic. Robbed a little of interest with Sovereignty, the morning line favourite, scratched unfortunately due to a fever. It was going to be a clash between the top 3 across the line in this year's Kentucky Derby against the top 3 across the line in last year's Breeders' Cup Classic. I still think this is a terrific race with a lot of chances. I'll let you pick first.
You let me pick first? All right, I'm probably going to go with a box in this race with the, quote-unquote, the emotional support rabbit, as Mike Rapoli's like to say. With him in the race, the pace should be fast. A lot of closers in the race. Fierceness should have first jump. Forever Young should be right behind him. And then Sierra Leone coming behind that. But I'm actually long shot here. Nevada Beach.
Wow.
I kind of like Nevada Beach a little bit, the Baffert horse. Baffert has this horse that's primed to run on the biggest days. He has a little bit of that arrogant feel to him. A late blooming 3-year-old. Doesn't show onto the scene until a little bit halfway through the season. Skips the rigors of the Triple Crown. He looked really well in the Goodwood when he won it. I'm going to have him on the ticket with Forever Young and Sierra Leone.
I was not expecting you to take Nevada Beach.
We don't talk about this beforehand, right?
Wow, okay. That's a very out-wide selection there from
I'm going to
Alex.
box the 3 of them. I don't know if I'm going to have him singled on top. It's not going to single at pick 6, but I do think he's going to run a big race.
Look, I think that the 3-year-olds this season have been absolutely spectacular. However, there's another horse that I've had a very, very close interest in over the last couple of years as well, and that's Forever Young, the Japanese superstar. He has looked sensational, as we sort of mentioned, since he's been here. He's been here for a week. He's really filled out, looks even bigger, stronger, muscular than what he did 365 days a year. We've spoken about that incredible titanic tussle with Hong Kong superstar Romantic Warrior in the Saudi Cup earlier on in the year. Yoshito Yahagi, after he was defeated here last year, he's always had this as the target, to come back a year later, and I did catch up with Yoshito earlier on in the week. Forever Young, how has he changed from 365 days ago?
So Forever Young was defeated here years ago. I thought, we need Forever Young need to improve more, 1 step or 2 steps. But now, he's carrying a lot of muscle. Look at his, quarter hunch. It's a big, hunch has. So yes, he has improved a lot.
So it's Forever Young for me on top. Ahead of Journalism, I think he can run another big race in Baeza, so I've got a couple of the 3-year-olds in for 2nd and 3rd. You run through your truck factor again?
We're going to go Forever Young, Sierra Leone, Nevada Beach. I'm going to box those 3 up. Forever Young owes me. I feel like, we're a karmic synergy of the world, like when California Spangle beat Golden 60. He paid me back in the Alquaz Sprint. Forever Young owes me here. If he gets on top, we're going to be on even terms, but I do love the horse. I think he's very special, and he's been so great. American fans have been exposed to Japanese racing so much through him and following him, and it's wonderful to see, and I hope he runs his race.
All right, let's get on to the next race that the Hong Kong Jockey Club is wagering on, the next Breeders' Cup race, and that is the mile on the turf. And we've got a couple of runners backing up from last year that were unlucky, Johannes and Notable Speech. Johannes was 2nd, Notable Speech was 3rd. Can Johannes do it this year?
I think so. The only fear I have is I'm be sticking with Johannes and Formidable Man loving the track and him getting over the top late. And you can see that kind of scenario playing out. But I do think both those horses have shown a proclivity for loving the Del Mar surface. Johannes starting a little bit later in the season. I think that's going to be beneficial to him. I think he's going to be a little bit fresher this year. I do also like Notable Speech to run his race again. And I'm going with those 3. I'm going Formidable Man, Notable Speech, and Johannes in a box. I'm a big box guy.
All right.
Exact the box. I take 3 in case one doesn't run the race, and you still have a chance at getting another 2 home.
We're actually aligned on this race then, because I've got Johannes on top from Notable Speech. So the second and third place getters from last year I've got going, running 1-2 this year, and Formidable Man, real horse for course. He's 6 for 6 here at Del Mar, and I think he's going to run a big race in the turf, which is on the grass over the mile. So that should be a massive race. All right, let's move on. A couple more races. The next race is the Dirt Mile, which is an interesting race as well. Quite a few contenders. We've actually got the 2023 Breeders' Cup Classic winner, White Abario, in this particular race as well. A favourite of mine, Tumbarumba, going around for Brian Lynch and his wife, Erin. Has been here looking after the horse. And of course, Nisos, you mentioned Baffert before. So some big names in this race. Who do you like?
You know, I liked Nisos over the summer, but he's had a couple issues here. He's missed some racing. I don't know if he's going to be at his best for this one. I'm not on White Abario. I do like Full Serrano actually cutting back to the mile, and then he can go for a repeat this year. I think that's probably who I'm going to end up on here is Full Serrano.
Okay. All right, well, I'm going to go with White Abario. I spoke to Safi Joseph during the week, and I think he says of his 3 runners that he's brought here that White Abario has just been training up a storm and is probably the most likely of his 3 to get the win. Nisos, I think, can run a good second. I think he's probably going to be there or thereabouts at some point. And Tumbarumba, he is looking sensational. The barn is full of confidence. There won't be a dry eye in the house if that horse wins for many reasons. But yeah, I'm going to put him in for third. I expect Tumbarumba. He ran 4th in this race last year, and he's going to outrun his odds again this year. He probably will be about 20 to 1. So look out for Tumbarumba in the Dirt Mile. One more race that the Hong Kong Jockey Club is betting on, and that is the filly in Mare Turf. I think it's going to be a really big day for Charlie Appleby, actually. Cinderella's Dream.
Yeah, she's lovely.
She's a lovely looking horse. She's been moving over the track here very well, and I think she can get the job done in the final race of the day. Charlie Appleby and William Buick had 3 winners here in 2021. It was Modern Games, Space Blues, and Yabir. Of course, they had Rebels Romance here last year at the Breeders' Cup World Championships. This year, I think they could have another 3 winners.
Yeah, easily.
I think it could be a really big day for those guys. So, yeah, Cinderella's Dream for me.
You remember her run in Dubai where he lost the irons?
Yeah.
And ran 800 meters with no irons, and she still ran off the page. I mean, she's looked incredible since being here. And her track work on the breeze on the turf on Wednesday morning with Buick aboard, she looked really well to me. She's going to be tough to beat. And we don't. At least to me in America, we don't have that high upper echelon filly. She Feels Pretty is very, very nice. I think that's probably the one that would give the most difficult time there.
Yep.
But that would be my 2 that I'm going to go with in that race. She Feels Pretty and Cinderella's Dream.
She Feels Pretty, one of 12 American horses on the entry list for HKIR. So wouldn't that be
which
great?
race would she go for? The mile and the 2,400 meter? The Vase?
I think she would probably go for the the Vase, wouldn't she? Yeah.
She
Loves Only You.
She fits there, to be honest.
Yeah.
I think she can handle that. Actually, I don't want to digress off of a Breeders' Cup stuff, but Via Sistina, Romantic Warrior, Voyage Bubble, all in the Cup. Who does J-Mac take? I've been wanting to ask this for a bit.
J-Mac would just, I don't know, he'd have to draw straws, wouldn't he?
I'd be tipping I'd be jockeys. I'd be like, I'll give you 5% if I can get that one.
Yeah. No, that would be unbelievable if he had those decisions to make. But yeah, all right. Well, that's the show. We don't really need to talk too much about everything else. We'll get back to normal programming next week for the Hong Kong Racing Show. We'll have to have on a fantastic guest, as we normally do. But it's just going to be a beautiful couple of days of racing here at Del Mar. Do you have a best bet for the weekend? A best bet for Saturday?
Ooh, I don't know yet. It might just be 10 across the board on Nevada Beach and hope he runs his race.
Why not?
Huge price.
Yeah.
Maybe like it won't be our comp prices, but he should be a number.
Yeah. All right, well, my best bet, I think, is going to be Rebels Romance. I think the old boy, the 7-year-old, is going to get the job done. He's also on the list for HKIR, so we might see him at Sha Tin in December. But that's it from Del Mar ahead of the Breeders' Cup World Championships for a special edition of the Hong Kong Racing Show. Good luck with all your wagers. We hope you enjoy all the action here from Del Mar, and we'll see you next time on the Hong Kong Racing Show.